Hi guys, Jessica Siefert here, owner of the Succulent Bar. I am here to tell you today how you're going to plant your little mini succulent arrangements. So you should have received either in your box or bag the following items. So in here you should have had a pot, a single succulent, a bag of soil, a bag of rocks, and you should have little planting and care instructions. So make sure you keep that so you know how to take care of your little new succulent friend. First step is going to be filling your pot almost to the rim with the soil provided. So go ahead and open your bag and pour it almost to the rim with succulent and cactus soil. Now guys, this is so about like that. And then take your finger and put a little hole there in the center. Now this is succulent and cactus soil. You can buy it from any Home Depot, Lowe's, garden center. It is specific to succulents and cactus, being that it has little pieces and particles in it. Something called perlite, it has sand, it has a gritty mixture and texture to it that helps with that drainage in the soil, so that way the roots of your succulents and cactus don't stay wet for too long. So it is important that if you are doing this, another time that you make sure when planting succulents and cactus you get that. Now you're going to gently remove your succulent from its container. They all are pretty dry, so it should come out pretty easily. What I want you to do is also use this as an opportunity to clean up your succulent. So if you have any funky leaves there at the base of your plant, anything crunchy, yellow, anything that does not look normal, take it off. Use this as an opportunity to clean it up and get it nice and fresh. Anything that's, on its way out is not going to heal itself. It's not going to get better. All it's going to do is be in the way of new growth. So go ahead and remove anything. That's why I picked this plant specifically for this demonstration, because I want to show you that it's important to get it all cleaned up. Now this does not mean that your succulent is dying or is not healthy. This is completely normal. When you have a lot of new growth, it just pushes out some old growth. Now what I want you to do is take your succulent and loosen up the roots. Don't worry about hurting them. You're not going to hurt them. Just go ahead and loosen them up. Anything that naturally comes off, the soil that naturally falls off, that's what we're looking for. You don't have to be crazy with it, just whatever naturally comes off. So now I have mine nice and loose. I even have a little baby growing down here. So now that we've done that, like I said at the beginning, put a little hole there in the center of your pot. Now we're going to place the roots down in our pot. Before you start compacting it, I want you to focus on a few things. You want to make sure that the base of your plant is even with the base of your pot. This is really important, so make sure that you focus on that as you are compacting your succulent. You don't want your plant potted too low. You don't want it potted too high. You want it even with the base of your pot. Now we're going to use our little succulent container and take it to scoop up this soil. Hold with one hand, and then I want you to take the soil and you're going to take your fingers, hold with one hand, and compact around the base of your plant with the other hand. It's important to hold while we're compacting so that way it doesn't drag your succulent down. I'm going to add some more here at the base. Okay, so keep doing that. I want you to keep doing this and keep repeating putting the soil, compacting down at the base till it's nice and tight. I want you to be able to wiggle your pot, and I want you to be able to move your pot and not have your succulent wiggle. You want it nice and tight in there. There's a few reasons for that. When it becomes really dry, what it can do is fall out because the roots are so shallow. When it gets really dry and the soil is not wet, it's not pulling that succulent down. So that's one reason. Also, you want to make sure that you have plenty of soil in there, so as you water it and kind of that wear and tear on the soil, you have plenty to last you for a while. So go ahead and get it nice and tight. Now, you don't have these tools, but that's okay. You can just use your hand. Go ahead and clean your pot up. Any extra soil, so that way it looks nice and clean. Now that you have done that, after that step, now if I'm going too fast in this video, you can of course pause it at your leisure. Lastly, final step will be taking these decorative rocks. The ones that I provided you in your bag, I believe, are gold. and you're going to take these and just put them on top of your soil. Now this is not, it does not provide any nutrients, it does not necessarily help the plant. This is purely decorative. So if this is not your thing, you can skip this part. It's my personal favorite part though. So gonna get that. I like to go big or go home. If you're gonna use the rocks, completely coat your soil so that way it's not patchy where you have soil and rocks in there. I think it looks really nice when you just do a nice thick coat of these rocks and do that all the way around. And then here we go. So this should be what your finished product looks like. Your plant is potted at the right height. You have it nice and tight so it's not wiggling around when you move the pot, and then you cover the top of the soil if you so choose with the rocks. Lastly, before I let you go, I want to make sure that you know how to take care of these little guys. Again, reference your little care card that we provided in your bag, but main things is you want to make sure it receives a lot of natural light and very little water. If you have this guy inside, put it in a very sunny windowsill of your house that receives nice bright light. If it's inside, water it about once a month. I want you to wait a day or two to water it. And after that, go ahead and water it about once a month. If you see that it's getting wrinkly and seems really dried out, of course, you want to water it more often, but I would say a good rule of thumb is about once a month. If it's outside, it will be super happy if you have it in a place with bright indirect light. So that bright morning light, not that like beating hot afternoon sun, but like bright morning light is a really, really good environment for it. If it's outside in the summer months, you might want to water it a little bit more than once a month, just because it gets so hot here and our plants dry out really quickly. Use your better judgment though. Let your plant talk to you and tell you what it needs. You will notice that when your plant gets thirsty, typically what will happen is it will start to look a little wrinkly like your skin would. It means that it's dehydrated and it needs water. Succulents store water in their leaves. That's why they're called a succulent. That's what makes them a succulent. That's why a lot of them have that very soft, plump look to them. When they get thirsty, their water reserve in their leaves dries up and they look a little limp. They look wrinkly. That means they're thirsty. So give them a drink of water then. If you have any questions, you have my contact info here on the card. So feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I hope you had fun, and I want to personally thank One Park Place. Thank you so much for having us, or allowing us to provide this experience for your residents and realtors. Love you guys. Bye.